exactly. Yeah, so I'll show you some of the things that you can see. This is the organization of the company and the Ministry of Health.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Like to see the logo.
Yeah, so I will be sending you some of these by courier. Yeah, so I don't know how we can show you all the stuff that we have here. But I'm sure you'll have the photographs sent across to you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you. It sounds like it's going to be a good event. Congratulations on the big day being here.
Yes.
And good luck with all the technology.
Thanks. So we'll reconnect in 1 hour time. Yeah. So we'll dial you in or we'll keep it dialed on. I'll talk with Deepak. We keep it dialed in or we reconnect? We'll reconnect, Rob.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Sounds good.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
All right. See you in an hour, Raj.
In an hour's time. Exactly. 9 days away. Exactly 1 hour. Thanks, Rob.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Let me give you a 2-minute introduction about why we do this dialogue. It was some 3 years ago, we figured out that everyone in this country, both in the private, public sector, with the other stakeholders, wanted to see a better healthcare in this country. They were really very passionate about it. There are tons of conferences that happen every year where people speak and they move on. I mean, there's not dialogue that is actually happening. So we thought, let us do a very focused one-day workshop where we get people from both the sectors in a room, discuss specific topics, and talk in a friendly manner. So that was the whole idea and the genesis of this government industry dialogue. We've been doing for 3 years. The first one was on broader healthcare, then came e-health. This is on e-health. Probably going forward, we do on rural care, chronic diseases, and more topics. And you will have very interesting set of speakers, right from the standards body to our Honorable Joint Secretary. We have Dr. Devi Shetty. And then at the end, you will hear the head of US FDA for digital health, Bakul Patel. In between, you have a very interesting lineup of people who will talk about the IoT policy, what's happening on e-health. You will get an update both from the government side, both from the private sector side, what's happening in this field, what are the lessons for India. And then you will have open discussion forum. I request you to keep it as friendly as possible. We are all friends working to each other. There's no tough things to be talked about. That is, I think, for the action side. So welcome, and I now like the IT guys to connect to Rob Havase, who is online in the US, who's going to address us. Thank you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, Rob. Good morning. Good to have you. Good evening for you. Good night, rather. What time is it in your town?
It is almost midnight here.
Good morning. So, over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Raj. And I want to say thank you very much to everyone who's there and for allowing me some time to talk to you today. Good morning, and I hope it turns out to be a very good conference for you. I want to take a few moments to tell you a little bit about the Personal Connected Health Alliance and about Continua in particular, and the work that we have done over the last 8 years, and a little bit about the future of the market as we see it right now, and how we feel that Continua, our reference architecture, and the work that we do can really help the mobile health technologies, telehealth technologies, other connected health technologies really blossom in the coming years. For those of you who perhaps don't know who we are or who I am, my name is Rob Havasi. I am the Executive Director of Continua, and I'm also a Vice President at the Personal Connected Health Alliance. The Personal Connected Health Alliance, or PCHA, is a unique collaboration between three organizations. Continua, the mHealth Summit, which is the global leader in convening and bringing together people around the topic of mobile and connected health, and HIMSS, the Healthcare Information Management System Society, an organization, an international organization with deep roots in hospitals and healthcare information technology. Together, about a year and a half to 2 years ago, we decided that the connected health ecosystem could really use a boost. And so we brought these three organizations together to really catalyze a reaction, to take the technology and the deep technology that Continua has in the connected health space, to give us a platform to really broadcast this message through the mHealth Summit and through some of the other media properties that belong to the summit and to HIMSS, and to really engage clinicians, providers, hospitals, healthcare executives who have a deep relationship with HIMSS. And we believe we are a unique organization. No one else in the world right now brings together the same combination of things that we have. And so our focus right now is uniquely on connected health. There is a reason that the Personal Connected Health Alliance is different than HIMSS, so that we can keep our focus squarely on connected health, and in particular, through the Continua organization, squarely on connected health interoperability. And so I can't really stress that enough, that Continua's technology, Continua's reference architecture, is really designed to allow, to allow connected health programs to scale quickly and cost effectively from small pilots up through national sized programs. And we have examples of areas of the world where this is working today. But more than just connected health, Continua really goes beyond what you might consider the most common connected health applications. And Continua really, our architecture really overlaps all of the IEEE domains, including disease management, health and fitness, and independent living. And our ability to leverage existing standards and put on top of it a reference architecture that can show you how all of these various standards can link together in a system really allows us to do things, to do everything, from connecting wearable devices like the one I'm wearing on my wrist, to wiring up homes in independent living facilities, or even smart homes in various areas of the world right now. Continua is an architecture that is ready for the Internet of Things, and it's ready for the Internet of Health things, as some people are starting to say. If I think about the area of connected health or mobile health where we play, in my mind, what that means is the practice or the delivery of healthcare using mobile devices, mobile technology, and internet technologies. So it's more than just wearables. It's more than just smartphones. It's really the whole system, bringing together the older technologies such as SMS and video conferencing that we've been using in telemedicine for a long time, with newer technologies, including wearable devices and new sensors and new ways of analyzing that data. And together, using cloud computing, using big data analytics, and building an Internet of Things as more and more devices gain connectivity, we're really finally building a connected health ecosystem. And I would put forth a basic thesis that says, in order for that ecosystem to thrive, in order for us to really achieve what I hope we are all looking forward to achieving, in order for us to live in a world where people can have and can acquire any device that they want, whether it's a sensor, whether it's a glucose meter, whether it's a blood pressure monitor, whether it's an insulin pump, whatever it is they want or need, and be assured that their data can get to the system where it needs to go to help improve their health. In order to do that, we need a foundation of device level and system level interoperability that we do not have today. And I would further say that interoperability itself is not sufficient. It's not good enough. We need interoperability based on open standards, interoperability based on standards that people can see, and so people can understand how their data is actually being transmitted, being protected, and is actually being used as the system is built. And more importantly, if we build the system upon existing or open standards that are developed specifically for healthcare, we can do things at the source where this data is generated that will help us when that data finally reaches the big data repositories where it needs to go. And by that I mean it is far easier to apply the right kinds of tags and append the right kind of metadata to, let's say, readings or to data that's collected from, say, a watch like this, here at the watch or here in the smartphone where it's collected, rather than having to build big systems to normalize and big powerful systems to really rationalize that data when it reaches a national repository or a repository in a hospital. So my thesis is really that this ecosystem needs a foundation of interoperability, and it needs a foundation of interoperability that begins to make smart decisions at the source of the data rather than trying to just put power and big data around reconciling and cleaning up data at the end of the data pipeline. And I've used the word interoperability a few times, and I will probably use it several more times before this talk is over. But when I say interoperability, I really follow the definition that the IEEE has put forth. And what the IEEE has said is that interoperability is the ability of a system or product to work with other systems or products. This is the important part, without special effort on the part of the customer. And this really cuts to the heart of what I call open interoperability. Lots of systems can be made to work together. With sufficient time, sufficient technology, sufficient brain power, IT people can connect anything to almost anything else. But my point is, healthcare is really special. Health is very important to individuals, it's very important to communities, it's very important to nations. And it deserves better than it deserves more than a series of very, specialized point-to-point connections that are very expensive to build and very expensive to maintain. What it needs is the kind of interoperability that comes from a foundation where there is no special effort required to make things work together, so that hospitals don't have to invest millions and millions of their dollars in building IT systems, and that individuals don't have to invest thousands and thousands of dollars in smartphones and apps and software just to make sure that the data they collect gets to their doctor or to their hospital where it needs to go. And I believe, in fact, I'm quite certain, and the reason I came to the Continua Health Alliance a few months ago is because I know that the Continua architecture can enable that kind of interoperability. And not only is that interoperability important for building an affordable system and a useful system, but on the individual level, it's that interoperability that begins to enable our ecosystem to grow. And by that I mean, we know that today there are many, many, many wearable devices, many different things that people can buy to collect their data. And I'm starting, all right. I don't know whether you can see me, but I hope you can still hear me. There are many systems that people can buy to collect their data. But we also know that after just a very few months, most people stop using these devices. By various counts, up to 50% of the people who buy some sort of tracking device, whether it's a watch, whether it's a new Apple Watch, or whether it's a simple pedometer that can clip to somewhere on their body, almost 50% of the people who buy those devices stop using them after 6 months. And I would put forth the idea that perhaps that's because devices are so hard to use, that in order for devices to be truly useful, they must do more than just collect a little bit of data. They must make that data useful to the people who are collecting it. And for most of the time, that means that data should be shared with someone. And today, it is very difficult to share that data. It's difficult to share that data with a doctor. It's difficult to share that data with a family or a caregiver or a child who's living somewhere away from their parents, or vice versa. And so I would put forth the idea that maybe the uptake of these devices is being impeded because of the lack of interoperability. And if we look at some basic behavioral science, if we look at work from universities such as Stanford University here in the United States, from some other work that's being done in Europe and in other places around the world, we seem to have researchers who are beginning to back this up, that the very first experience that people have needs to be easy to use. A device needs to be simple and easy to use, and it needs to be simple and easy to connect with other things, or else that initial activation doesn't happen. And we can only get the kind of uptake and use of these devices that we all would really like if people get over that initial activation. And so once again, I would put forth the idea that interoperability, the kind of plug-and-play interoperability that continuous architecture and other standards put forth by organizations around the world really brings, is